Well, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever it is in the world that you are streaming. Here on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. What other platforms are there nowadays? Those are the obvious ones, but there's so many of them. I'm here. It's Wednesday. It's the Q&A with your boy. What's on your mind, people? Welcome in, welcome back. Have an actual finals game to watch tonight. Feels like an eternity. What else? What else do we have going on here? Oh, look at that. You can see when people retweet the stream in the chat now. When was that a thing? When did that start happening? You can see activity in the stream. I guess they're still improving the live video experience here on Twitter. They have been ever since the late 2000s. Don't have to change now. Who said Google Plus? Who remembers Google Plus back in the day? Oh my God. What a throwback. That's when Google thought they could replicate Facebook. Google's Facebook. Hey, spoiler alert, it didn't last very long. What's sad is MySpace had such a lead on that. Had such a lead on that in that category too. And they blew it. How many companies out there exist that did something similar or identical to Facebook and Instagram and just never made it? Same with Twitter. So many companies that just had bad timing, bad luck, bad product, couldn't capitalize on the momentum. What are the Knicks doing? What the Knicks are doing right now, if you've been listening to my daytime show, you have heard me use the analogy of the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney relationship. When they filmed Anyone But You, is that the name of it? When they filmed that movie, she was engaged. He was with Gigi Paris. You could tell there's some chemistry there. Then the rumors started to fly around that they were hooking up. They end up both breaking up with their spouses, fiancés, girlfriends, whatever. It just adds more fuel to the fire. The Knicks are out there right now asking, may I please date your girlfriend? I'm seeking permission to date your girlfriend. It's not going very well because no one in their right mind is ever going to say yes to that. Why are we subjecting ourselves to embarrassment? It's the Knicks, man. I can tell who's a Gen Z Knicks fan and who's not. You get used to this. Those 20 years before they got good with Leon Rose. This is just another day ending in Y. Carter says, interesting how NBA has had all new champions over the last 7 years, but the NHL has had the same teams dominating for a while. When the Lightning didn't they go through the Panthers that one year? Panthers versus Oilers is turning into LeBron versus, yeah, that's Connor McDavid is LeBron, and the Panthers are the Warriors. Interesting. What happened to the arm? What are you talking about? What's wrong with my arms? Chris asks, have the Knicks contacted your legal guardian for permission to hire me as the next Knicks head coach? Not yet. Not yet. I imagine I'm they're going to make a couple hundred more phone calls on their leads list. You guys ever had a sales job where you're required to make 80 to 90 cold calls a day? You've got your prospects that are qualified candidates. I'm probably at the page number 89. I do. The good news is I may have, I'm going to hold Antonio to this, but there is a chance that Antonio pursues coaching one day. And I go, if you ever become an NBA head coach, you have to promise me that I can have the job on your coaching staff, the guy who uses the tablets to see if that play is worthy of review or not. There's nobody out there better at that than me. Not a single person. I don't even know that job probably pays minimum wage. You get to be on the staff and get involved in other stuff. But I would absolutely crush being the tablet guy who gives the thumbs up or the thumbs down. I'd have 100% accuracy. 100%. It's all I do all day. That was scary. Did you guys see the video of Boogie Cousins in Puerto Rico? So that team is coached by JJ Barea. I just remembered that today. The Mets de Guanabao? Sorry if I'm butchering that name. But man, listen, when it started filming, Boogie was already on his way to engage with that fan. He ultimately got into an altercation with in which they're grabbing their nuts and they're doing they're emasculating each other, middle fingers in the face, and then he gets beers thrown on him. He's getting spat on when he tried to Malice in the Palace. Arena security spears his ass. Do you know how big you have to be to decleat Boogie Cousins? Someone got Boogie to the floor and ultimately out of the arena. Crazy times. Who knows what was said, whose fault it was, but AD brought up a good point today. He was like, players always have to be the bigger man, right? That's the expectation. They can't be running into the stands to confront someone that is yelling things at you, which can be incredibly personal, malicious, all the above, that the players are expected to be the bigger man and the fans are hiding behind this code of conduct. Now, this wasn't an NBA game, but we know NBA games. They show you the code of conduct. They put it on the big screen. They tape it to the seats sometimes, and that it's very lightly enforced. Who do you feel the Knicks should hire? Middle World P. Oh my God. What are we doing here? How many times do we have to have the same conversation? I haven't seen a single finals question in the chat. The Thunder don't have their rotation down. So what? Okay. Maybe I'd prefer not to see finals questions if that's what's going to be. Who would you trade for a coach? In the past, it's been Doc Rivers was a first-round pick, right? Jason Kidd, Milwaukee was 2 second-round picks, so draft compensation probably. Wow, Tibbs' new Twitter follows 3 accounts and 1 is you. Are you guys dumb enough? You can't possibly be as dumb as the people in the comment section of that tweet, thinking that's actually Thibodeau. What is wrong with you people? How do you actually think that's him? Tom Thibodeau doesn't even know what social media is. How do you continuously get punked like that? And even the people that are being genuine in the comments section, like, Coach, we miss you so much. You scrolled through that. I'm like, my God, reading comprehension in 2025. You have, and someone told me this early in my content career, that you have to treat everyone like an idiot because chances are they most likely will be. I had expectations and I'm still stunned that you can possibly believe without any authenticity. And even if it ends up becoming actually Tom Thibodeau, that you assume right away is why this social media comprehension is so dangerous. Everything is assumption of guilt. You can manage crazy, but you can't fix stupid. I'm sorry. What do I think of James Borrego? He's qualified coach that will probably do well anywhere he goes. You don't get those jobs by accident. Knowledgeable, respected. What's up, Carly? What are some of your sales incentives when you worked sales? Oh, okay. What were some of those bonus? Oh, all right. Thank you for asking. First of all, money. Like Stanley in The Office. Money. That's all. You're in sales because you're working on commission for the most part. So bonuses if you reach a certain number. Now, the problem with offering money as sales incentives is if your manager or your vice president turns, let's say, the month of June into a competition, like which sales guy can sell the most, you'll get a $5,000 bonus. So now, one, you're turning the sales department on itself and everyone's cannibalizing each other because they want the money. And number two, you get cheaters. We had this guy in New Orleans who we caught cheating, and he was holding orders in the drawer, and he wouldn't process them until there was incentive or a competition. And then all of a sudden he'd have like 10 sales day number one. And then one day after he left the office, we opened up his drawer and we saw a bunch of signed contracts that he could have put in the week before, but he was saving them to try and steal all that money. So the answer is money. You can also give away, like, I don't know, dinners and nights out and stuff like that, but it always revolves around some form of financial compensation when sales jobs are usually based on salary plus commission, with commission being a big part of it. Those were the days, man. That's why I brought up the whole 80 to 90 cold calls a day, because I was doing that straight out of a phone book in New Orleans. This is the peak of the recession, the real recession, not the one now that all the Gen Z kids complain about. This is not a recession. Times are not tough. Times are not tough compared to 2008. You could have a degree from Harvard. You were going into sales. There was no jobs to be had. Zero. There's jobs to be had now. They're being eaten up by artificial intelligence, and kids are in debt. That's of course a big problem too. It's not easy pickings. But yeah, in 2009, the peak of the recession, no one had expendable income for like 2 to 3 years. And every generation's had to deal with some shit, right? Go back to boomers. They've had to deal with wars. Gen X with Vietnam. Millennials, the recession. There's always something. Kyle says those were full beers dumped on Boogie. That was crazy. Those were big ass beers. He got soaked. He was probably getting spit on. He's got arena personnel that are not helping him. They don't look out. They don't have team security the same way that the NBA does. You know, when there's an altercation on the court and there's like 4 different guys wearing team embroidered hoodies and quarter zips running onto the floor. No, everyone for themselves in Puerto Rico. That could have been Malice at the Palace very easily. I agree, Pereira. As much as I want to hear you talk about the finals, it's more fun to pick your brain on random stuff. Thank you. I talk about the finals all day. You guys can get 5 hours of finals content. Would Becky Hammon ever be hired by the Knicks? I think what's her name? The Indiana assistant coach, Busek. She's probably in line to be the first female head coach in NBA history, more so than Becky. You think the Knicks are going to hire Becky after what she said about Jalen Brunson, by the way? The hell no. What's the play of the day? I will show you what I'm on. I am running it up on baseball right now, by the way. Shout out to ProfitX, our partners here. Got a whole bunch going on the website tonight. Specials, real quick. Let's see if there's anything good here. We're already on Shea. Oh, the WOB special. OKC to win the NBA Finals in exactly 5 games still exists. What am I on tonight? I am on Isaiah Joe. I'm on Isaiah Joe over this bet right here. Let me pull up the where are my props? Man, am I losing my voice? Too much talking. I'm on Isaiah Joe over. There it is. I'm on Isaiah Joe over 2.5. Over 2.5. Right here. I think he's going to get some extended PT. Indiana's going to be going deep into the bench tonight. Indiana's going deep into the bench, being at home. I think they're going to run 12-13 deep. Mark Daigneault will acquiesce to that, and you will see Isaiah Joe get double-digit minutes. I think he'll get 10 to 11 minutes, and as a result, he will get up at least 2 to 3 threes, and I think one of those goes in. So if I have it pegged correctly, Isaiah Joe gets up 2 3-point attempts, 3 3-point attempts, that will hit. And they're going to need that depth because the Pacers this is going to be the fastest game that the Pacers play all series. What else you guys got? The series goes 7 if I don't think Indiana's going to win another game for the rest of the series. So even if they lose, I would still have OKC in 6. Martin says the NBA needs to do a better job of marketing the small market teams. Just had a lowest rated game 1. Well, it's not just that. It's no one watches cable television anymore. Numbers are going to be down regardless. The NBA has also been the number 1 rated television program every single night that it's been running during the playoffs. So you have to take that into perspective if you're using historical context. And those Jordan 90s days had like 35 million viewers because every person on earth had NBC and cable television. That was network television, but they had cable too. But yeah, they would obviously be higher if it was Steph versus LeBron, but you can't just have Steph versus LeBron for every year and be a healthy league like that. What are we talking about? Thank God Obama punished all those greedy Wall Street criminals. I don't know which that's in reference to. What if Toppin's usage is even higher tonight? That would be scary hours for OKC. One of those Indiana others and role players, Obi Toppin, Thomas Bryant, well, obviously not Jarris Walker, like a Ben Shepherd. One of them is going to go 3 for 3 from beyond the arc to start the game. One of them. That's always been the case with these Pacers. They have one of those guys step up at home. The others always play better at home, and they can channel the inspiration and everything from that home crowd. They will do just that. The problem is, I could argue that OKC hasn't played well in this series either, and they have eliminated Tyrese Halliburton from civilization. He is cut off with that defense, man. And I got a good question on the show today about what was it about Jamal Murray that permitted him to get points against this OKC pack of hyenas out there? And the answer is, well, Nikola Jokic was busy creating gravity and deeming everyone's attention. So Jamal Murray is operating the same way Jimmy Butler was on the other side of the floor, not drawing the other team's primary defender, or at least primary defensive tactics and strategies. And Jamal Murray is much more of off the dribble pull up than someone like Tyrese Halliburton, who needs to get downhill to be efficient and effective. But yeah, and I thought about this too. Having Case and Wallace on the floor not only allows you to put more emphasis on the perimeter because you're replacing Hartenstein with Kaysen, but because Nembhard and Nesmith are always pressuring 94 feet, that having Case and Wallace on the floor allows you to have someone dribble the basketball into the front court to avoid an 8-second violation. Mikal Bridges had to assume that role in the conference finals. Ty Jerome had to do it for the Cavs, and he had one of his worst games of the entire season when he was put into that role, being the table setter. When Damian Lillard went down, that was like Gary Trent Jr., AJ Greens, those guys, that was barely effective. So having Case and Wallace out there be able to table set and just allow Oklahoma City to start their offense with 16 seconds left on the shot clock, do not take that shit for granted. There's certain teams that make that look easy. But because Nembhard and Nesmith are trying to prevent Shea from getting those inbounds passes, he's still able to get into his offense in rhythm with the game flow without any sort of pressure applied to them the same way that it was in the Eastern Conference. Blue Jays are free money right now. That's why I'm in a good mood today, because I took them plus 120 against the Cardinals. Right there with you. I'm also on, if we're talking MLB real quick, can I just do a quick psst? Okay, my second MLB bet of the day is under 8.5 here. Under 8.5, White Sox and Astros. Okay. if for some reason you want to join me on that. Dream getaway island when you're done with content. Oh, like where do I pull a Brad Pitt from Legends of the Fall? Where does Tristan go? Am I an island guy? Am I going to Tuvalu? No, I like living in I like being well, I can always live in the United States, but take an extended stay elsewhere. I don't need to be in one of those random South Pacific islands for too long. Maybe Japan's the answer. I'll tell you in a couple of weeks. I have a feeling I'm going to really like Japan. The only people watching on cable these days are old white people in the Bible Belt. Yeah, the older generation for sure. That's why a lot of NFL ratings are so high because that audience does skew older. Baseball keeps high ratings that way too. And as long as they're being distributed on a network television, yeah, they'll always be high. But there's different business models here. Just because something has higher ratings doesn't mean it has more cultural influence, especially international, like NFL. Nobody has any idea about the NFL. Even in Western Europe, bouncing around, man. They know Tom Brady. Like if you ask them about the NFL, they're like, "Oh, the Tom Brady guy plays for the Patriots." It's hard to find. It's hard to find. They know NBA. They know soccer. They know, depending on the country, they know like cricket or rugby. Yeah. But and people that give you those ratings takes, they have such a first of all, they have their own political agendas that they're pushing through the ratings. They're trying to tell you what they actually believe without actually saying it. You know what I mean? But they also look through the lens of the United States only. You know how much of the world is out there outside of the United States? Like the NBA's international business is, I would imagine, worth even more than what they do in the United States. Can't say the same for some of these other sports leagues. Yeah, I've been to Dodger Stadium. I've been to Petco. I've not been to Anaheim. No. Thoughts on Giannis versus Shams? I don't know what that means. I don't understand people's okay. More ratings talk. You were talking about the '08 recession. I was making a joke about the government bailing out all the people responsible. That's been the case forever, right? With the bankers. Wait, when was that? When were all the bank bailouts? Was that '08? No, it was later than that, wasn't it? The first thing all those executives did was take the bailout money and take their private jets somewhere. I mean, it's just we live in the matrix. I'm telling. This is why I always tell you, being apathetic is a superpower, man. When you just don't give a shit about any of this stuff, some people have to give a shit. But if you have the ability or the resources not to give a shit about anything that's going on, life is just a lot easier. Sun's gonna rise in the east and it's gonna set in the west, and I plan to enjoy every minute of it. I don't got time for anything else. Groundless Gull. I don't know what that is, but says I'm pretty sure that's actually Tibbs based on the coinciding Instagram follows. It would be a dedicated troll. Y'all have no, my God, you guys need a 101 re-education of trolling on the internet. There are smart trolls out there like the Contavious Caldwell Pope account that everyone thought was him for like months and months. A real troll is putting in the time to build all of those ways of authenticating an account through like following a lot of mutuals and producing content before rebranding it so that it looks like there's a long history of tweeting and it's not just an account that was made overnight. But yeah, a smart troll is putting in the time to add to its legitimacy before unveiling it to the public. Yeah, I used to do this shit all the time when I was bored. You know how many of those accounts I have out there, like probably on my phone from fucking around during a 9 to 5 job, sitting on the toilet? What 2013 Twitter? Like, what fake account can I create today when it was a lawless land? But it takes time to do it well. What are you talking about, vegan Barbie? Handball. They play handball over at the Venice Beach courts. Europe went to prison for all of it. Why can't the Knicks find their own coach? Go find your own coach. Who's out there? Clearly, Michael Malone would have been the guy already. Are they going through every single option before calling Michael Malone? What do you want them to do? It's not that easy hiring a coach. They're putting in their due diligence of trying to speak with anyone who's available, even the ones that are not available, just to see of their availability. Okay, we've already talked about what's going on in LA. LA is so big that what's happening downtown is like an hour away. LA is so spread out. It's not, the entire city is not being affected by these demonstrations and protests. It's a very select area at the delta of the 101 and 110 intersection. That's where like City Hall is, I think. But John Stewart made a joke that I saw on the internet about LA always being on fire, and I'm like, well, it's technically correct. Whether it's wildfire, whether it's protests or something, or Dodgers winning the World Series, the Lakers winning, something's always on fire here. That is a fact. Oh, don't. Who said Coach K to the Knicks? Are you trying to piss me off? I'm in such a good mood too. You're trying to piss me off. I would reconsider. I would reconsider my Knicks fandom immediately. I can't. I can't. Not a chance. I can deal with Duke players, especially the new age Duke players. They're just one and dones. There hasn't been a true Duke player since like John Shire, JJ Redick, these 4-year guys, these Greg Paulus, Grayson Allen. That's a Duke player, not one and done Kyrie Irving. He doesn't count as Duke. Nobody cares. But Coach K, hell no. Hell no. Anything Duke related is just like, nope, out, 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 out. Sorry. You got to be old enough to understand why. Pacers +5. No, I'd be on OKC -5 personally. What's that money line? Profit X. I would imagine it's like -200. Let's find out. Yeah, -200, -198, -200. That's not a lot of liquidity. Wait, why is so much of this money stacked up on? Does this dollar number mean it means everyone's betting Indiana? 13,888. Does that mean they're betting Indiana heavy or OKC heavy? There's a lot of liquidity on this side. So I would assume that means everyone's betting OKC if you can bet that heavy on Indiana. That's crazy. Jeez. Prophet X needs OKC to win this game badly. Wob, how much fun is Sam Mitchell? He's the Raptors coach of my childhood. I hope, since you asked that question, I hope you've been listening to our shows. Sam is so, he is so, wears his heart on his sleeve type of radio personality. And he's going to tell you exactly what he's thinking. Doesn't care who it affects. It reminds me of a Jeff Van Gundy. Like if Jeff Van Gundy was doing radio, and Sam Mitchell was a coach of the year. Sam Mitchell was on that floor in 1994, 1995, the Eastern Conference Finals between the Pacers and the Knicks. And when I am able, you probably heard me make that bet against him, when he's so adamant that the Timberwolves were going to beat the Thunder, that he owes me right now. He's into me for a dinner. And then he tried to finesse me by saying the drinks weren't included. Let's bet drinks in addition, because I got cocky and said OKC was going to win game 2 by more than 13 points. So I was giving him a free 4 points on the spread. And he goes, I'll take that bet. And then I realized in the moment, shit, like drinks were included in dinner this entire time. And I gave him a bad line. You know how that game ended? OKC won by 15. And Jaden McDaniels threw up a shot at the buzzer that would have made it 12. And I was going to lose my shit on air if that went in, but he missed it. So now he's into me for dinner and drinks. He's in trouble because I'm having him take me to sushi, and I get to bring a guest, a +1, with him and his wife. He's in trouble. I'm running up that tab because he tried to get me. I would have been much nicer. I would have ordered the standard rolls and like just bring me a couple beers. And no. Now that he tried to get me, Sam Mitchell is going to have himself a dinner tab coming up here in the near future. I may even fly to Atlanta just to cash in and eat dinner with him and then fly back to LA across the country just for a dinner out of principle. You cannot finesse a finesser. But yes, he has stories, and especially when the red light goes off during the commercials, you should hear some of the shit that he says. I'm like, oh, why can't we get this on air? He's so funny. He's so funny, and he's incredibly, obviously experienced and articulate with sharing those experiences while still relating to current times. So whenever I get to work with him, it's a treat. SiriusXM has such a great roster of ex-players and coaches and executives. Like tonight I'll be with Ryan McDonough for 2 hours after he's got his own with Phoenix. And it's funny to listen to Ryan because everyone's like, Suns fans associate me with being the guy who drafted DeAndre Ayton when he also was almost executive of the year. And he did all of those great things before that one draft, but the fans always remember for that one mistake, and that's it. Wob, if you go downtown for games, how do you get there being that far out in LA? I take the train because I don't like sitting in traffic. Train takes about 45 minutes guaranteed, and it runs parallel to the 10. So you can look out the window and see gridlock traffic. Can you imagine sitting in there in an Uber or Waymo or something? Oh, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. Did I see that Kyle Anderson went kind of crazy? What? No. You're going to have to be more specific. With cap space and picks, do I think the Nets get Giannis? The Nets are going to want everybody. They have cap space. They have Cam Johnson. They have picks. They're going to make that same offer to every team until they get a star. Wob is Sam Mitchell's 000 rant, the most under. Do you guys know the 000 rant? The original Snell? When he went in front of cameras and Sam Mitchell, that man went out there and put up a box score of 0, 0, 0, 0. Might as well have not shown up to the game. It's so good. You can look it up on YouTube. Barbecue for dinner. Hope you eat some spaghetti. I had spaghetti with chicken sauce last night, not meat sauce. Chicken sauce. Still had Rayos. No police chases though. Yeah, I've been running bad on these first half bets. I would still take Indiana in the first half. OKC's been demolishing first half bets all season long, so I've been trying to fade them. Woof. Yeah, so just take OKC because I would be on Indiana, but I'm on Isaiah Joe over and White Sox Astros under is my action for tonight. We have, it's time. We have had those discussions. Thoughts on revolving all you can eat sushi Korean barbecue? That sounds like a dream. Why would anyone think otherwise? When I was caddying in New Jersey, there was an all you can eat sushi place in Manasquan, New Jersey that I would show up to. And the eyes rolling, I would show up so hungry. It was like $25. That's it. And it's one of those places that tries to, if you leave sushi on your plate, they charge you extra. That's how they try and make up the difference always. Because if you order and you don't eat it, you get hit with a bill and you bought that item. But me, when I'm hungry, I can put away food, man, especially sushi. I show up and they're like, no, this guy again. I sit there and it's just plate after plate, roll. I can eat in a mountain of sashimi. I am a pelican down the gullet, down the gullet, down the gullet. I had to eat $200 worth of sushi every time I showed up there. So if you could bring me to an all-you-can-eat sushi place, like the equivalent of a fogo de chao, but of sushi or Korean barbecue, I'm the last person you want to see. I eat 1.5 times per day. I don't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have something small when I wake up. Like today, I had prosciutto with cheese, and then I'll have a big dinner. Big dinner. And it's early dinner too, so it'll last me all the way when I go to bed. If you're the victim of that dinner, you better not be an all you can eat because I will make you pay. Boogie got that's official. Boogie got suspended, contract terminated. That makes sense. I can't imagine it was for that much money. He was doing TV hits too. So he was doing them on FanDuel TV. Vegan Barbie, I just learned about Letterboxd. I just learned about this website where you keep track of all your movies and stuff. So I don't have a profile. And it would take me so long to go through because all I do is watch movies and TV shows. It's one of the best parts about being single. I got all the time in the world to watch that stuff. But I'd say my favorite drama. Well, what are the different genres? Drama, comedy. Is war its own separate category? I don't know if you can include war and drama. Sci-fi. Fantasy, like Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter's, that's sci-fi, right? Or fantasy, sorry. Sci-fi is like Alien. I got to think about it. I know my favorite comedy. That's an easy one. Favorite comedy is Scary Movie. As the great Julius Hodge once said, when we hungry, we eat after beating Duke. Nice callback, MCC. I'm going to flag your account. I'm going to flag your account as someone who gets the show. You wouldn't know about Julius Hodge NC State days unless you were my age. It's unfortunate that he got punched in the nuts by Chris Paul. Matrix, great. Oh yeah, Matrix. Is Matrix the top sci-fi movie? Do you guys go Matrix or Alien? Those are probably. Oh wait, what's Jurassic Park? No, Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park 1, Matrix 2, Alien 3. I'll think about it some more. What many people do is they only log the movies they are currently watching, rewatch. Don't have to log old movies. Well, I'm going to have a couple of 12-hour flights coming up here in the near future. Maybe I should just log on to Letterboxd and just spend the time going through every single movie that I've ever seen. To scroll and pick. And saw that one 6.7 out of 10. No, stop it. Interstellar. Stop it. Stop it. All right. It's 4:00. My time has expired. I am going to go play some tennis for the next hour before the game starts. Before I make something to eat. Game starts, and then get ready for the post-game show. 2 hours tonight, post-game show. Woof. I haven't been to the Sphere, but I will if I can get in for less than $1,000. Tickets are ridiculous, and you got to sit higher to be in that place, right? You don't want to be down on the ground level. You can't experience the whole Sphere. All right, friends, I'm going to bounce. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I'll be back Friday. Hopefully, I'll be in a good mood still. Hopefully, I won't hurt myself playing tennis. Hopefully, I'll still have some voice left. I need the off season because my voice sounds like I've been talking for the last 10 months. I think I have. All right, friends, I'm out of here. See you on the timeline. Deuces. Yes, Dark Knight is my favorite movie. Jurassic Park 2. And so is Scary Movie.